Welcome everybody to CWC Mar Vista. We're so excited to have you here today and to be able to share our wonderful school with you. Today we're going to be touring around each of the classrooms. We have 7 in total, and we're going to begin with kindergarten today, which is Miss Lev's classroom. So without further ado, let's start our tour and really go and see what the children are experiencing.
Do you want to tell them what we're doing right now?
We are doing writer's workshop.
Writer's workshop. We're writing true stories.
So we're very fortunate that we have a lead teacher in every room, and then we also have a teaching assistant, and they're all fully credentialed teachers. So really it is a 2-teacher in the classroom model with 24 students. So one of the most important things for us at CWC is that our children are being challenged and are excited by their learning. So one really important part of this process is really finding out where each child is at when they enter into our school. So we really take part in very specific individual assessments where the teacher or teaching assistant is working directly with the child. From these assessments, we can really start a child where really their reading ability is at. We find that this proves to be really successful because then, let's just say a kindergartner is reading at perhaps a higher ability than a standard expected kindergarten stage, then we can provide them with the right reading material where they are just getting those just right books and are challenged and excited by what they're doing.
This is my just right book.
Typically in a reader's workshop session, it will involve a mini lesson of 10 to 15 minutes on the carpet where the teacher is really explicitly teaching a specific reading skill or strategy. And then the children will then go off and do either group or independent work after this. And the children just love this time in the day. So at this school we use an approach called brave spelling. This is when the children are listening to the words that they're spelling and sounding out those words using phonetics. We find that it's really successful because children want to write from an early age and are confident in doing so.
T, U. Teaching for understanding.
So our social studies and science component of the curriculum is called Teaching for Understanding, often referred to as TFU. So in kindergarten, their project for the year has been relationships. So they're starting with themselves during this first trimester, and so they've been exploring the nervous system, the digestive system, all the different parts of their body, but doing it in a much deeper way than you might expect of a typical kindergartner. Then learning about the relationship with themselves in the community of a school. We've been finding out about different families in our class. And today they're making artifacts from clay of something that they have a very strong relationship with. And the idea is that we don't touch on many different projects throughout the year. We have one project and we're deepening their understanding as each trimester goes on.
We've been counting the sides of different shapes, like the angles.
At CWC we use a range of curriculum so that we can have a really solid approach to our math instruction. We're really going through a very rigorous program where children are not just learning their math facts by rote, but they're really gaining a deeper understanding of the math content so that they are not just learning, for example, how to do it in one form on a worksheet. It's presented in problems, it's presented in many contexts. It can involve games or investigations where the children are really making real-life connections from math that they've been learning in the classroom, these concepts, to the outside world. And that's really important to us, that the children see context with their learning.
Basically, our art program at CWC is really concentrated on process-oriented arts, which means it's more about the students' experience inside of the classroom and working in a studio-like environment than it is about sending beautiful things home. But because we're so focused on that process and on what it means to be creative and what it means to make art and be an artist, the things they do send home are going to be pretty amazing anyway. So it's really just about bringing it all together, bringing together critical thinking, bringing together being creative, learning how to work with materials, and overall just showing that being an artist is just about using your brain and making choices.
We have game time PE twice a week. Currently they're doing yoga and dance once per week, and then the other time is games, where we really teach the children a whole repertoire of games that they can play out at recess. You know, that's often one of the most difficult times of the day for kids, and we don't want it just to be survival of the fittest out there. We really want them to be able to know how to start a game, know the rules of the game, what to do if a child's not playing fairly, and so the whole school knows the same set of games, and we feel that it's working really, really well.
Hey, hello, this is the Mar Vista parent saying hello to you. Hi from Mar Vista.
Another huge component of our program is the sense of community. We really have a wonderful family engagement community here, where our families really are empowered and encouraged to take on a strong voice in the school and really engage in ways that are meaningful for them. So one of my biggest jobs at the very beginning of the year is really getting to know each family and finding out what their passions or talents are, what ways in which they love to help in the school, what times they're available for volunteering, so that every family, regardless of their situation, can really find a way of engaging.
Hello! Muy buenas tardes. Hoy estoy aquí participando en la escuela, ayudándole a servir lonche a los niños. Es algo que me agrada mucho a mí porque puedo ser parte de la escuela, ser parte de la comunidad. Mis 2 centavitos para ayudar a la escuela. Hasta luego.
One of our biggest fundamentals here is our social and emotional program. I really believe firmly that the social and emotional program goes hand in hand with academic excellence. You can't have one without the other. So our children are practicing mindfulness in classrooms every day, especially after recess or those busy, frantic times. And the children are also learning explicit skills of how to articulate their feelings, how to self-regulate in our classroom peace corners. And they're also learning how to resolve conflicts with their peers or with other people in their environment.
Social emotional is when you have to take 5 in the peace corner, and sometimes you just need to do deep breaths or look at a book.
So you saw in that classroom where the fabric was handing down, that's a peace corner. And so when the children really need to self-regulate, if they're having a large emotion, they can go into that safe space, and we call it taking 5. And we teach them specific strategies when they're in there so that they can really calm their bodies down and then return back to what they were doing. And it's really causes no disruption to the class. Our 2nd grade teacher is working with stoners at 2nd grade, and we're going to make an edible garden. So we want to really do a nice community project where we're bringing both sets of children together.
We love our school garden!
So when you look in our classrooms, you will really see a wide range of diverse learners, and that goes from the students' ethnicity, their socioeconomic status, and the way that they learn. We have some very kinesthetic learners, some visual learners. All children learn in a very different way, and they're all on their unique learning journey, and we really want to support them in that way. Our biggest part of our diversity is really empowering the children to look at different issues through different lenses, so that they're really developing those multiple perspectives, and that's the way that we really want them to look at the world, so that they're seeing problems or stories from different angles. And that's something that I believe will only get stronger and stronger as we grow.